My best friend Dina was diagnosed with osteosarcoma shortly after giving birth to a baby girl. I loved Dina with all my heart. We went through our teens together, and as adults, she stood by me during the lowest and hardest times of my newly divorced life, when I was just 22 and a single mom to a 2-year-old girl. I was later the maid of honor at Dina's wedding, and when I got married for a second time, she played an important part in my wedding. We were thrilled to finally get to experience pregnancies together, her first, my second. We would laugh while sharing our daughters' sonograms with each other, each of us saying that our daughters had their dad's noses, not ours, and once we had our babies, kept each other company on the phone during those endless, sleepless newborn nights. Adriana was just a few months older than my Daniela. We swore our girls would be just as close to each other as we were. We did all those mommy and me music and gym classes. We'd take them into the pool for the swim classes, and each time I saw the scars from Dina's surgery that replaced her femur with a cadaver bone, I kept thinking how brave she was. She didn't even seem self-conscious about the scars or how thin she had become. I tried to hold back my tears, and I would have to wait for the lump in my throat to go away before I could even speak. I didn't want to show Dina my sadness or any weakness. About a year after her daughter was born, Dina became even more sick and had to move to New York City for more aggressive treatment. After many efforts from the top doctors for several months, her husband called to tell me that things weren't looking good. I knew what that meant, and a stinging sensation filled my heart. Within days, I jumped onto a plane from San Diego to New York City to interview her for a memory book I wanted us to create for her daughter. I couldn't tell Dina the truth, that I wanted to capture as much as I could while she was still alive. She was not accepting that there wasn't more to be done, and I surely wasn't going to crush her spirit. So I devised a plan where I told her I wanted to work on scrapbooks for our daughters. I wasn't doing one for my own. My intention was to get down on paper and record Dina's voice with all the stories and messages that a mother would want to share with her daughter. First love, first kiss, first heartbreak, how her daddy proposed to her under a bridge on a boat ride on the bay, that her favorite color was purple, her biggest lessons learned of always following her instincts, and advice for Adriana to have self-respect and never to be with anyone who doesn't want her 1,000%. We even laughed at some of Dina's most embarrassing moments. I wrote them all down, along with a recording of Dina's voice, and together we picked out pictures to tell the story of Dina's life as she sat in her hospital chair receiving her chemo. In between our tears and laughter over childhood memories, other chemo patients would stop by to say hello. Dina's charm and infectious smile helped her make lots of friends while in treatment, and after each one left, Dina would tell me their stories. Seeing other people also dying took a piece of me away that I will never get back. But every time my eyes met with Dina's, she would smile and say, "Don't give up on me, G." She knew what I was thinking. She always knew how to read my mind. Later that evening, we spent hours sitting on the hotel room bed we got for our fun weekend in the city. Dina recited letters for me to write to Adriana for her second birthday. As she'd become so frail, it was difficult for her to hold a pen. She looked at me at one point and said, "Do you want to see me without my wig on? Take some pics of me, G. I don't care. This is nothing, as long as I can survive long enough for Adriana to remember me." One of Dina's biggest fears during her final days was that her daughter wouldn't know her, that she wouldn't remember her. I wasn't going to let that happen. I took this book home and continued to work on it furiously for a year until Dina lost her battle with cancer on August 26, 2006, just a few days before what would have been her 35th birthday. As I was saying goodbye to her during those last moments, I whispered in her ear, "Go, Dina. You will be in a better place. And don't worry, I will make sure your daughter never forgets you." I gifted Dina's husband with the book at Dina's funeral, including the eulogy I had given. And this past Christmas, he asked me to finally present it to Adriana, who is now 9 years old. It was hard to see the book again, but at the same time, it was beautiful because it was part of Dina. I sat Adriana beside me alone in their family room. I tested each page, little by little, to make sure it wasn't overwhelming for her. I would read and let her read some of it, and she seemed so strong through it all and exclaimed, "Purple is my favorite color too." And wow, I looked just like my mommy at her baptism. She smiled when the pages of Dina and Adriana's daddy came and finally started to crack a bit when it came time to hit play for Dina's recording for her. And there was Dina's voice. "Adriana, never forget Mommy loves you." I looked over to Adriana and I asked, "Are you okay? How do you feel?" She said, "Sad, especially hearing her voice. But I'm glad I have this, Auntie G." I hope it means as much to her as it did to me, especially those precious moments Dina and I spent making it. Dina's death literally broke my heart, and although almost 8 years have passed, this heartbreak has yet to be completely mended, if ever. Having been side by side with a dying mother, I experienced her fear and the desires of what a mother would want to leave behind. So now I try to share as much of my childhood, memories, life experiences, and other facets of who I am as if I'm in a constant rush to create that memory book for my own children. I live every day as if I'm dying. And instead of waiting for a diagnosis, I try to create memories daily with my kids. I give them glimpses into me, their mom. They know I love the color black. They know I hate crowds, and that I can't stand the sound of someone chewing with their mouths open. They know I was a straight-A student, except for in behavior. They know I can't swim, but I love the sound and smell of the ocean. They know I hate to cry in public. They know I had a best friend named Dina, and that I think of her every day of my life, and that I treasure each day with them, my family and friends, knowing that our days aren't promised. I take more photos, especially of me with them, than most people probably care to see, but I'm living that memory book, darn it, until it kills me. Thank you.